Today was an exciting and almost joyful day for the people of Israel after the IDF announced that it had rescued 4 hostages: Noa Argamani, 25, Almog Meir Jan, 21, Andrey Kozlov, 27, and Shlomi Ziv, 40. The hostages were rescued in a joint operation carried out by the IDF's Yamam unit, the Shin Bet, and the Israel police in the Gaza city of Nuseirat.
מבקש להודות לצבא האיכותי, האנושי והמוסרי ביותר בעולם. אין צבא כזה בעולם.
Three of the Israeli hostages have been returned and rescued, and they're alive, and now they are safe and sound, returned to the loving arms of their family and their friends. And I rejoice at this news because I rather celebrate life than death. Personally, I kept being saddened to hear about the hostages that were found but deceased, and I'm not saying there's nothing that comes from that, because at least bodies can be returned back to their family, and their family and loved ones and friends can start their grieving process. But I was starting to lose hope that the hostages were still alive. So to have some of them return back home alive, a little emaciated, some of them had difficulty walking for whatever reason. I don't know if they were held captive in small spaces or they weren't able to use their legs. I don't know, but a couple of them had to have assistance walking. But for the most part, they're alive, and I'm really happy about that. Now, this is a couple of other news or things that came out when they were rescued that I want to talk about. And one of them is allegedly that one of the hostages, or a couple of the hostages, were held, I think Noah, allegedly, in the homes of one of Al Jazeera's journalists. Let's back up a little bit. Not only were they held allegedly in a Al Jazeera's journalist home, they were held in residential homes and residential neighborhoods. Not Hamas tunnels, not Hamas secret hideout camps, residential homes and residential neighborhoods, and they will be guarded by Hamas terrorists and civilians, including allegedly this journalist. And another hostage was found before, who unfortunately was deceased, was held in a home by another civilian who was a teacher. So it brings up these questions because a lot of the pro-Hamas side likes to always claim that, oh my God, you know, all these people have passed away and they're killing teachers and they're killing doctors and they're killing journalists. But then you find out there's teachers who are actually participating in holding captive Israeli hostages along with journalists. So at some point, are you an innocent civilian or are you a terrorist sympathizer?
This is your daily reminder that innocent civilians don't help terrorist organizations hide hostages in their homes. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I want to make it really clear, when I'm on TikTok, when I'm on Twitter, when I'm on Instagram, even when I'm on YouTube, I kind of take a lot of the news coming from either side with a grain of salt. If it's coming from Israeli media, and especially if it's coming from mostly pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, anti-Jew activists who just regurgitate whatever Hamas is saying, I take all of that with a grain of salt because I think all of them have a reason to skew or lean unbiased. And I mean, I don't know why anyone's just believing a terrorist group. Every word that comes out of their mouth, they're a terrorist group for a fucking reason. But yes, everyone's taking the word of Hamas as truth. But I kind of try to listen to multiple things to get confirmation whether something is true or not. And that's why I'm saying allegedly, because there has been multiple outlets that have reported that Al Jazeera journalist is holding Israelis captive. It's still coming from Israelis news or media, but multiple people have reported it. So it's still allegedly, but multiple sources have reported this to be the truth. Another thing, there is, of course, Israelis can't have any happiness or rejoice or any empathy or humanity towards Israel's, right? So when the news broke out that there were some Israelis who were found and rescued, a lot of, again, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorists, pro-Palestine came out with these tweets and these comments, these posts saying like, well, by what means? Like, how many people have to die? How many people have to pass away? Like, yeah, you rescued 4 people, but this many people was lost in Palestine, according to Hamas again. Hamas's numbers. Hamas, the terrorist groups that have no reason to lie or skew the numbers in any way, where I believe one of their war tactics is as many possible civilian lives lost so they can win the sort of political empathy war, so they can gain more access to Western countries and Western outlets so they can have more influence, because even Biden right now is talking about flying Palestinian refugees over to America, which honestly, for me, sorry, I have a heart, but big mistake, because if you have civilians helping terrorists, but you still calling them civilians, how you don't know that those same civilian sympathizers aren't going to be some of those Palestinian refugees? That's all I have to say about that. But even that question, at what cost though? It's funny to me how like everybody has all of this pressure on Israel and Netanyahu and the IDF, which I understand why, but what I don't understand is why is none of those same exact questions being directed at the terrorist group Hamas? Because you can literally ask them the same question. At what cost, Hamas? How many more civilians have to be lost in Palestine, Hamas? How many more babies have to die, Hamas? How many more women and children have to lose their lives, Hamas? How much more of Gaza has to be flattened, Hamas? You could have returned the hostages ages ago. So how many more bodies is it going to take for you to return the hostages that you stole, that you kidnapped on that horrific day of October 7th?
5 American hostages being held in civilian homes in Gaza for 8 months is worth whatever the it takes. Those 5 American hostages, plus the other 115 hostages that are still being held in civilian homes, plus the 1,200 plus people that were murdered on October 7th, plus the loss of so many IDF freedom fighters' life, plus 100,000 Israeli civilians who have been displaced. Again, it's worth whatever the it takes. Free the hostages, surrender, and come out with your hands up. It's worth whatever the it takes. It's 8 months. You are ruining the world with this. Then you complain when burst in there to retrieve the hostages. Surrender and come out with your hands up.
Funny how it seems so difficult for people to turn that exact same question around on a terrorist group. These aren't oppressed people. These aren't the people that you say is being locked in apartheid in Israel. These were terrorist groups attacking innocent people, but you have a hard time holding a terrorist group accountable for their fucking crimes. Everyone's screaming war crime to Netanyahu, but no war crimes to Hamas, who could have returned the hostages months ago and saved so many innocent Palestinian lives.
قاعدين شعب كله مدني وحمد العالم انه احنا وحوش واسود احنا ولا حاجه اولادنا ماتوا حياتنا كلها اتدمرت رجعتونا 500 سنه لورا وحطونا في حلم الدوله اللي كله كذب وكذب احنا قاعدين بنموت.
رسالتي سريعا الى قياده حركه حماس: ارحمونا واطلعوا من قطاع غزه، بيكفي. واللي بده يقول عني جاسوس يقول عني جاسوس. بيكفي ويلات وجع، بيكفي يا عمي. مش غلط، ابو عمار عملها وطلع وريح شعبه. لوين بدكم تودونا من الجنون تبعكم؟ بيكفي.
I saw a tweet where someone answered this perfectly under someone else's how many lives have to be lost, and a tweet underneath that said 0. 0 lives needed to be lost. All that had to happen was don't attack on October 7th and return the hostages immediately. That would have saved So many lies. But again, you guys refuse to hold the other side accountable for jack shit. Another short little side note, when people were showing the video, there was somebody showing videos of the area where these hostages were rescued. There's a giant supermarket next to the home, like right up front or right next to the home of where the hostages was being held, filled with fucking food to the brim. Every freaking shelf filled with food. Them just shopping casually, buying food. I thought they were starving. I thought they had no food. So just explain that, please. Again, all of this, they're starving, they have no food, is coming from Hamas. But there's a supermarket filled to the fucking ceiling with food. Explain that.
Then I did some more research. We discovered on Google Maps the actual residence, the private home of Abdullah Al-Jamal. This was where Noa Argamani, the Israeli hostage, was being held. And as you can see, his house was right behind the Al Danaf hypermall, the shopping center in the center of Gaza. We then did some more research. This is the photo of the car park where the house is next to the shopping center, the hypermall. And we also have the latest video from the shopping center, the hypermall, in Gaza, near where his house was situated. Let's quickly go to a video showing the shopping center in Gaza.
Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go. Let me know what you guys think of this video in the comment section down below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please, for the love of God, donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the comment section down below. And you can super thanks. And you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Bye.